never, that's just unbelievable to think, a program that was designed for welfare to basically, it's the last thing. It's the last thing. If people have nothing else, no hope, the government was going to reach down and help give those people a leg up. Only 17% remotely qualify for any kind of welfare program. 83% will never qualify for welfare. The reason is because of these incentive programs. If a 50-50 bill passed, the state would lose millions, possibly hundreds of millions of dollars in federal money. And it was like a mic drop moment, because we all known that all along. It was like a mic drop moment, because we all known that all along. It was just kind of neat to hear the opposition actually bring that up at a hearing for a bill. But there's two major parts to the longer, so I'm just going to give you the brief Cliff Notes version, if you will. But one part basically is a reimbursement of 66 cents on the dollar for every dollar the state spends in collection efforts. Now, it's critical here to make sure that we distinguish. One part basically is a reimbursement of 66 cents on the dollar for every dollar the state spends in collection efforts. Now, it's critical here to make sure that we distinguish. Unfortunately, there have been a lot of people that have been using terminology which they don't mean wrong, it's just you turn off every person that's a federal legislator or with the HHS by using wrong terminology. People have been saying that the state gets reimbursed for the dollars they collect. They do not get reimbursed for the dollars they collect. They get reimbursed for the money they spend on collection efforts. So for instance, if they hire, let's just hire two people at $50,000 a year, and their person's sole job is child support collections, then the state would get reimbursed $66,000 of that money. Now, that in itself is just massive. It creates a problem. The huge problem is created, though, by this incentive pool. And I'm not going to go through all the details, but the incentive pool, there's 5 parts to it that all the states compete for. About $500 million is lumped into this pool, and states compete against each other based on 5 factors. One of the factors is the percent of paternity establishments. That's why you'll notice in a lot of cases, people are determined to be the father that aren't even the father. Some of you have heard about the Texas case with Gabriel Corneu, who's ordered to pay something like $80,000 worth of arrears for child support for a child that has already been proven is not his child based on a DNA test. So there's a percentage that's given in this pool based on percentage of paternity establishments. And that's the one that's really affecting the majority of people, because the higher they can get those orders up, the more money the state is going to get based on that incentive pool. And then the current support orders, if they realize, okay, we're already getting this federal money. So if we stop getting this federal money, we're going to have to take that money out of our own personal budget for the state or lay off all kinds of state employees. They can to make sure that there's going to be obstacles to getting a 50-50 legislation passed. But more importantly, every one of those 5 factors is based on an increase over the previous year. So if you collected so much last year, you've got to increase that amount